Today's challenge is to turn this guest bedroom into a craft room. But there's a twist. The thing is, it must be very easy to turn it back into a guest room. We get visitors from time to time, not very often. Maybe once a year, maybe less. But, we have only so much space and it's gonna double. Bedroom and craft room. Let's get started with the easy stuff. I know where the sewing machine goes. Right here. And I know where the overlocker goes. Right here. And that's about what can fit on this table. Next up, this lamp goes on the wardrobe. And this table really lives downstairs. This is a fairly small room and I have quite a lot of stuff that needs to go in here. All of this here in the bathroom. Some stuff in the corner of the lounge.
Yes, and some stuff under the bed. And while I'm in this extremely flattering position, how about I introduce myself? Hello, I am Daisy, and I like making stuff.
Fabric. And fabric. Ouch! Oh, okay, let's see what is inside. Ooh, what's this? So I just finished making my video about my fabric stash. If you have not watched it yet, check it out, it's linked here. And now I have a humongous mess to clean up. So there is a lot of fabric on the floor and on the table and everywhere. Right, so let's get going. Wish me luck. Okay, the fabric's going in here. Let me just rescue my giraffe doorstop. Hey, we're gonna have an Afrikaans word of the day. Okay, a giraffe in Afrikaans is kameelperd. Directly translated into English, that is camel horse. Camel horse, kameelperd. One of my favorite animals. Een van my gunsteling diere. No, golly, I'm too hungry. If I have to do it now, I'm gonna do a really bad job. How about tomorrow? Let's call it a day. I have finished organizing my fabrics. I will show you. These are all my lining fabrics. Look how beautifully I can see exactly what I have. These are all the floaty fabrics from my mum's stash. These are all my thinner stretch fabrics. My pink stretch fabrics, as well as all the whites from my mum's stash. Right, okay, these are my jeans, old jeans that I'm planning to repurpose, as well as my husband's old shirts that I would like to repurpose. This is just a mix of dress fabrics, cottons up to here, and then other dress fabrics. A mix of my own and my mum's stash. And here are my heavier fabrics, like trouser fabrics and jacket fabrics, that sort of thing, or even blinds, curtain fabrics. Yeah, and then that is not everything. And the top is where I keep all my jackets and coats, and then the bottom is where I put all the fabrics that's really a bit too big for a shallow drawer. So those are mostly the fleeces, the heavy winter stretchers, and the 3 pieces of evening fabric. So it's all done. I can see everything clearly. I know exactly what I have. It is now day 3 of organising my craft room, and I have come to Hobbycraft to buy some rainbow storage towers. When at Hobbycraft, I can never resist visiting the yarn section. If you would like to see what I found there, I have made a video all about it. The bed has been removed, courtesy of my lovely husband. It is now in storage, waiting until next time that someone comes to visit. And I've got my 2 storage towers from Hobbycraft. I have brought in all my stuff, and now I need to organize it. I think the first thing I need to do is to separate all the yarn stuff from the sewing stuff. I'll get on with that. Yarn stuff, sewing magazine. This is back with fabric remnants. Sewing bee books. Yarn stuff. Pick up sticks. Okay, so I have separated the yarn thingies and the sewing thingies, and I'm ready to get the sewing paraphernalia into the drawers. I'm going to try and organize my threads roughly by color, or maybe by size. Nice big navy one, because I do a lot of navy sewing. Blue. Blue. I think this counts as organized chaos, but the point is I can see straight away what I have. Even if there are a few of them on top of each other, I can see very clearly what I have, and now and no pressure to keep it perfectly organized. Okay, those are the sewing threads done. Next up, my overlocker threads. Yay, one drawer done. And so I continued sorting and organizing for many hours. Actually, I kept up some running commentary on every item, telling you what it is, anything that is particularly nifty about it, or just why it makes me happy. It was good to reminisce about all my craft supplies. I decided though that there is no way you could possibly be interested in all these tiny details, but that I would rather give you a quick overview of what is in my new rainbow drawers towards the end of this video. So, fast forward. It is now day 4 of organizing my craft room. Actually, it is probably day 10 or 12 or something. I am feeling a little sorry for myself and in need of TLC, and so I'm treating myself to a cup of coffee and a pastry. I am more of a tea drinker, but I'm really a bit sleep deprived at the moment, so I opted for coffee. And nope, I don't often use the coffee machine, so I ended up with an espresso amount in my big mug. Nothing some extra hot water and milk cannot fix. Yes, I know I'm not a coffee purist. That's my husband's department. So, what's up that you need a pastry? I hear you ask. It's my dog. The diagnosis is a suspected slipped disc. Poor Wally has been booked off to 6 weeks in a crate. He is not really the crate kind of dog though, so we are giving him all his normal creature comforts and he is allowed to sleep on the bed or on the sofa as usual. But we are watching him 24/7 to make sure he doesn't jump on or off anything. He's actually recovering very well, surprisingly well, and I feel that I can now get on with things again. I was also waiting for Hobbycraft to get some more stock of these storage towers, and I'm really pleased that I now have 4. I think they look great, and once all my belongings are in here, I'm gonna be super well organized. So I better get on with it. On to organizing my yarn supplies. Wally joined me for a little while, being inquisitive what I was up to. In this tray, I put remnant acrylic yarns from various craft projects. I put away a handful of knitting patterns and then sorted out my knitting needles and crochet hooks. I have a good selection that I acquired over the years, as well as a bunch of knitting needles from my mom's stash, which my dad brought for me when he came to visit a little while ago. Also, some Tunisian crochet hooks that I bought in South Africa on one of my visits back home. Next up, I organized all my as yet unused quilting fabrics. I have a selection of fat quarters that I have been saving, as well as a small jelly roll that I won in a sewing magazine competition. I thoroughly enjoy doing this, as I am really thrilled by pretty fabrics, especially the special motifs one often finds on quilting fabrics. To these, I added the usable sized remnants from various quilts that I made for my family members. One year I had a bit of a bad moment and decided at the beginning of October that I was going to make quilts as Christmas presents. I made one for my mom and dad, one each for my 2 sisters and my brother, as well as one for my husband. I even made some quilted cushion covers for my nephews and nieces, all done in time for Christmas back home in South Africa. I have 2 pretty boxes that are very handy to store my sewing patterns because they won't fit into the drawers. Then all my items that need TLC goes into a pretty flower box, and a pretty tin becomes my new dustbin. Now I'm organizing some yarn from my mum's stash, brought by my father on his recent visit. These yarns date back to my childhood days. My mum had a knitting machine and she made a lot of jumpers and cardigans for us. She bought yarn when it was on special offer, and not all of it got used. I had the opportunity to choose from her stash and selected some white, blue and crushed strawberry colors. These are all acrylics. I also got some green, red and black 100% wool yarn. And then I am pretty much done. I'm just checking what is in each drawer and if I'm happy with the distribution. And voila, that's it. I have some empty boxes to relocate and I'm all sorted. Welcome to the grand tour of my satisfactorily organized craft room. Let me show you around. Over here, a table to sit at with my sewing machine and my overlocker. I don't have the chair here all the time. It lives just around the corner in the dining room, and I just bring it in when I need. Saves a little space when I don't. Underneath, my giant cutting mat, as well as my husband's giant cutting mat. I'm just being kind here. I'm offering his cutting mat a place to stay and some friendship with mine. But it's very, very handy when I want to cut out fabric on the floor, because I can just put them like this, or even better, lengthwise. Lengthwise like this, right? And I can do some nice cutting out with my rotary cutter. Although I don't do it in here, I do it elsewhere where there's a bit more space. On this side, another table, as high as possible as it could go, because I will be standing at this one, cutting out or piecing fabric together, putting things together, you know, as it goes. And that's very handy, and then I can get back to sewing over here. Over here, my rainbow storage towers. Up there, on top of them, I forgot about this one. Patchwork owl. My owl for wisdom, and some full packs of fabric from my mom's stash. All my stuff. This one contains projects that are unfinished or needs a little TLC, like for example, a jumper with a hole under the arm, a quilt that's been in the fire, don't ask, and I still need to repair it, as well as my latest sewing project, a skirt that's almost finished. 2 boxes of sewing patterns. This is my project bag that I use to take my sewing to the sewing club. My dustbin. Lights for making videos. It's better if they are out all the time, otherwise I will never get around to it. Okay, then from the other side, my wardrobe, well, not really, just the one in the craft room with my jackets and coats and some fabrics. Sewing magazines, sewing bee books, art of knitting, art of quilting magazines, spritzer, which is very handy for blocking knitting and spritzing plants, and you know, my set of drawers, you already have seen this, with all the fabrics in, my giraffe door stop. What else do I need to show you? Under the table is my weaving loom, nicely packed in a bag, and in the front is its stand, and then also my hem puffer. I don't think that's what it's really called, but I like to call it my hem puffer. It puffs chalk where you want the hemline to be. It's brilliant. Let's have a look at what I actually have inside these drawers. In the top pink drawer, really long knitting needles and Tunisian crochet hooks in different sizes. The needles and some other needles, these are from my mom's stash, except for the Tunisian crochet hooks, and some Tunisian crochet instructions. These are leftover yarns from a finished blanket, and I am in the process of making another blanket were the leftovers. It's a bit of a mess. This one, I am not happy with it. I'm trying to make a giant granny square, but it's not coming out properly, so I'm gonna have to frog this and sort it out. I have already figured out what the problem is, so I just need to get on with it. In the yellow drawer, my alpaca fleece and my knitting needles. I have a nice little collection of them. In the green drawer, I have 2 projects that I'm not happy with that I'm gonna frog and redo. So this is a slouchy hat that would suit probably just about anyone else on the planet, but I do not look good in slouchy hats, so I'm gonna frog it and just make a normal hat. And this was a cardigan which, when I started it, I really liked it, really liked the pattern, really liked it, but I don't know, I don't anymore. I'm never gonna wear it. I need to make a plan. So this is the pattern and I just don't like it anymore. There's no way I would wear this. So I'm gonna make something else. Also a few packs of really special yarn. Now I got these when I started weaving because I had all sorts of plans. All sorts of plans. And I have not touched them because it turns out actually I don't know what to do with them. But they are so pretty. I'm probably a bit too precious about them, so I don't end up using them. I really need to. I really need to make something lovely from that. This is leftover yarn from a knitted blanket. And I think I have enough left over to make something else, maybe a jumper. And here are my 5 knitting patterns, I think there are 5. My Tunisian crochet hoops that I absolutely love. It's the Knit Pro set where you have the hooks, and then in here you have the cord that goes into them, so it's a long string at the end, a bit like circular knitting needles, but you know, just crochet hook. You only use 1, not 2 like the knitting. I love them. I think they're my favorite set of crochet, knitting, whatever thingies. This dark wood is just beautiful and feels so good. As well as my other crochet hooks. Just a mix of wooden and bamboo and metal and plastic. Row counter. This is a drawer full of acrylic wool, just really cheap craft stuff that I've made various things with. A lot of green. I made a frog from this. So yeah, some finger puppet thingies. So the story behind them is when I was 18, I had an operation on my wrist. Still have the scar to show for it. And a friend visited me in hospital, and she made me finger puppets. And it was the funniest thing, and it really cheered me up. These are not the ones she made. I made these ones later because I thought it was just so cute that she did that for me. It cheered me up no end because it was the most unexpected thing ever. This is a drawer full of remnants from various projects I made. So most of these were scarves that I wove for my family members. So this was a scarf for my brother-in-law. This one was for my husband. This one was for my husband. This is actually really lovely Rowan Rowan one, he never wears it because he says it's itchy. Okay, this one I think was for my dad. This one was for my mum. This was for my sister. Not much left of this. It's alpaca, I believe. And I made her a lovely, lovely houndstooth woven scarf. This was a scarf for my neighbor. These are the remnants from a scarf that I made for myself but ended up giving away to a friend. And I love this. This is my favorite. If I have to wear pure wool, which to your shock you will discover I'm not the biggest fan of, for only one reason. No, for two reasons. First reason is just simply I find it very, 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 very itchy. And also it's, you know, hand wash only. And I'm lazy. And so for those two reasons, I mostly prefer acrylics. I'm ashamed to say. Anyway, this was also a beautiful one with a tartan motif. I don't have it anymore. Maybe that's enough details. I think you get the gist. This is a remnant from a scarf. The first thing I knitted when I got in the UK. I still use it, even though it's a long time ago. Okay, that's enough. You get the idea. I've woven a lot of scarves and given a lot of them away. I still have some. And remnants from various projects. I just finished actually, got this wool from a friend when, I believe after her granny died, she gave away some yarn. She gave this to me and I've made a wrap from it together with this. And I don't remember what I made from this. This is leftover yarns from my latest projects. This is from my first Tunisian crochet project, a simple scarf. And then the pink and grey I used together for a poncho, which I love. It was supposed to have a cowl. I decided not to use the cowl. And use all my try out little squares that I thought I just leave it in here for the moment because I still have a lot of the yarn left over. I can still make something and maybe I just want to see how it, you know, all my try out little thingies. This is my drawer of sock yarn. I have in my entire life knitted one sock. I think it's time to get on and knit the other one. I don't really know why I stopped. It's pretty. From this Freedom Spirit by Twillies of Stamford. I think this is very, very, very pretty yarn. Pretty even on the bowl and on the sock, but never mind. Very pretty. Oh, and of course my, what do you call these things? Gauge thingy. Okay, then I have this, which I clearly bought on sale, and I intended this for a scarf for someone, for a gift. Didn't get around to using it, but I think now I'm gonna do socks from them. Definitely sock yarn that I made a bit of a Tunisian crochet tryout, but I think I'll just knit them. This is sock yarn that I made little baby booties for a friend's baby. Baby is now quite grown up actually already, and a lovely girl. But I think there's still enough left over to make a pair of socks for myself, just not too long, I suppose. And here I have another epic fail, although these are pretty. Granny squares, and this is a really, really lovely. But actually I knitted an entire cardigan from it, finished it, and then decided I didn't like it. And I think that was, but I really like this granny square thing. And I think if I can make, I probably don't have enough left, but I need to see how much I actually have left and make something in crochet granny squares. I think this is great. Compared to how it knits up in stripes, I much prefer this. Right, then I have some leftover Kid Silk Haze Glamour. It's beautiful. It's Kid Silk Haze with these little sparkly things in. I've made a scarf for myself from it, which I actually wear with this. I love it, but I happen to have one left over. This I don't have the ball band for, which is a bit of a shock. I don't know what it is. It is pretty nevertheless, and I think it's going to become a scarf. Here I have 2 balls of mohair. I'm totally baffled by the whole thing about mohair, because people say, oh, it is the softest, warmest wool in the entire universe. Well, they probably didn't say that, because we all know alpaca is the softest in the entire universe, right? But people rave about mohair, but to me, oh no, just take it away. Don't even bring it close to me. So this will have to go into something else, for example, a blanket, because it's definitely not going to go next to my skin. And then I bought these 100% bamboo. It's kind of a tape yarn. Yeah, I've got some in this, and in this, and I clearly bought it on sale, fell in love with it the moment I saw it, thought I would weave something from it, but I had never actually had the inspiration of exactly what to weave with it. So, you know, gotta. I definitely bought these at John Lewis 1 year in the post-Christmas sale. That was the year that I got my weaving loom for Christmas. Best Christmas present ever. So I used up almost all of the yarn that I bought, but I still have this left over. And I love this. It's a Rowan Colorscape. And I need to make this up. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. I have already made one with a similar yarn, but I need to make this. I need to do it. Here are all my cotton yarns. So these ones I bought with a very specific project in mind. I made a start. It was going to be a teddy bear made up of these things. And I thought it was going to be a nice, small, very cutesy little thing. Well, as I started making it up, I realized the bear's going to be humongous. And so I decided, actually, what am I going to do with a humongous bear in my house? It's one thing to have a small thing sitting somewhere. And so I aborted. Now, I'm sure I can still make this up and use it like a tray cloth or a table runner or something. But I'm probably rather going to do some other stuff. Here I've just crocheted up the different colors together. And I have big plans actually to crochet some Christmas decorations with this. That will be my next project, and I'm really looking forward to that. And here is some leftover. I've made a snood for my mum from this. I can't remember what else because there's quite a bit left. And here is an epic fail. Epic fail. I love this wool. From Cedar Nomad. And what is it even? Here we go. 60% wool, 25% alpaca, and 15% nylon. And so I do actually find this scratchy, even though it is, I'm sure most people would say it's very soft. The knitting went really well. It's a coat that gets knitted into various blocks. All these blocks you knit separately from each other, and then afterwards you sew them together. And it's actually really beautiful. There's just one problem with it. It's got sleeves too, by the way. Both are finished, both are sewn together. There's one small problem with this. It's too small for me. I checked the gauge. I blocked every little one. I followed all the instructions, but it's too small for me. It's too small for me. In all honesty, it's not really my colors anyways. It's probably better it's too small for me. So all I need to do is I need to sew on the 2 sleeves and it's done. But because I know I'm not gonna get to wear it, I can't be bothered to finish it. I think I need to finish it and just give it away. After all, it is winter and someone needs something nice and warm to wear. Yeah. Right, tower number 2. In the top drawer, we have some wool yarn from my mom's stash. Now, this is an interesting thing because it's not like normal wool yarn. You know how you get mercerized cotton? The only way I can describe this is mercerized wool. I don't think such a thing exists, but yeah, it's strange, right? So that's definitely not what I thought it was going to be when I picked it out of my mom's stash via photo. And then my dad brought it. But I have a lot, so it's going to be something beautiful in green. I do like this color green, so I just need to give it a bit of a think. And then a box of remnants from a quilt I'm busy making at the moment. In the red drawer, some red and black fabrics from my mom's stash. This is mohair, and I said to my sister I will make her a scarf from it. I will weave her a scarf from it, but I know, like me, she's not going to be able to tolerate the mohair around the neck. So it's going to be something else. I always think the best use for mohair is a blanket. And I don't have enough for a blanket, but I can always get some more. We'll make a plan. A tin with buttons in and some blue from my mom's stash, and the rest of it is up there. So I have a lot. I can make something nice. This is going to be my next knitting project, gifted by my other sister, the one in Germany. And I'm going to knit that next, and then I'll have a drawer free. So I have 2 boxes of patterns down there, and over here are just some I made myself or traced or something, and they don't fit in there, so I just need a little extra space. What do you call these? Violin interfacing. Various different kind of interfacings, wovens, knits, different colors. You know, you need it. That's the quilt I'm working on currently. It is from the Art of Quilting magazine series, which actually I subscribed to quite a number of years ago. It's not a recent thing. I got about 30 of the magazines, so it's not the whole series, and I think it's time to make them up. So I have already got a fair number of blocks done, and yeah, I think it's time to get on with that and finish that quilt. This is leftover cottons from various craft projects. I'm not going to take this one out. I think you have already seen it. This is my thread drawer. Okay, let's see what I have in here. Oopsies. This is my cupcake pin cushion that I crocheted. It's so full of pins that you can't actually see the cupcake face. That needs to go by the sewing machine anyway. A rotary cutter, some fabric dies, jeans patches, quilting gloves, and yeah, they are actually handy, really handy. Various bits and pieces of tape, can't remember right now. On my chalk puffers chalk, some more rotary cutter blades, I'm getting chalk all over me. You know, measuring tape, safety pins, the peggy thingies for bias binding makers thingies. Yeah, you know, eyes, eyes for crocheted animals. Stitch and tear, heat and bond, embroidery stiffener thingies. Yeah, I use that quite a bit, even though not really for embroidering. Walking foot, my overlockers, various things, gadgets, whatever. Oops. Zips, bias bindings, elastics, you know, that sort of thing. Leftover cotton fabrics from various projects. This one I love, my drawer full of fat quarters and a mini jelly roll and some other, yep, charm pack, you know. These are 2 sheets for designing quotes. So you stick them up on the wall, you stick your blocks on, and you can look from a distance and swap them around and change them. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And the bottom one I'm not going to take out. It's got a sewing machine paraphernalia. Foot and feet, not foot, paddle and feet and oil and, you know. That's it. I think that's officially done. And then just some finishing touches, which I love. The 2 hearts on here, as well as this beautiful decoration that my neighbor gave to me one Christmas. That's it. That's everything. I am really, really delighted with how my craft room turned out. It is perfect. It's what I wanted. So now the big question, how easy is it going to be to turn this back into a guest room? Because that's really important here. And the answer is quite easy. So this table needs to go back into storage and the guest bed needs to come back in from storage. That I'll leave to my husband. He's big and strong. The weaving stuff will go in the corner by the lounge. These are very easy to deal with because the drawers come out. So I can just take out all the drawers, put the bases where I want it, whether that is in another room in the house or in storage, and just slide all the drawers back in. That shouldn't take more than half an hour now, so boxes easily transportable. the table stays here while the lights just go somewhere. So the fabric is a bit more of an issue because that I have to take out, put in a box, you know, clean out the wardrobe and the drawers so that whoever stays with us can use that. But all in all, I think this will not take me more than a day as opposed to probably a week it took me last time to do. So I'm really pleased. Voila! It's done! I'm happy! 2 thumbs up! Would you like to watch another video? Check out the one where I show you my fabric stash.